discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me.
It sound preposterous to me. At first it sound like some people that just wanted to be anything but black. Brothers, what y'all got there?
This is not particular evidence. When you talking about evidence, we talking about archaeological digs,
right,
in which they find skeletal remains in places like South America, Ecuador. You have the Chinchorro mummies. All of the ancient oldest artifacts are of people who would of Negroid, for lack of a better word, phenotype and skeletal remains. You talk about the Olmec civilization, which is older than any civilization that's here in the Americas. As you know, Trump has casinos and resorts all over. Now, at one time, right, Donald Trump was trying to buy property in Connecticut.
You go up to Connecticut and you look, now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
And at that particular time, you had a group called the Pequot Nation. And they were forming what's called Foxwoods Hotel and Resorts. So when Donald Trump saw these people, he was like, hold up, they're not Indians, and they don't look like Indians to other Indians. Now, the royal family of that Pequot Nation look like any one of us right here. I got the picture right here to show you, and I'll send it to you.
Oh, and Trump said they don't look like Indians.
Nah, you can see the family right here. And I actually met the family when I went to Foxwoods. I had an opportunity to build with the family. I actually had videotapes and things of that nature.
Meet the Indian owners of the largest casino in the Western Hemisphere, Foxwood Resorts and Casinos, located in Connecticut and handles more than $1 billion a year. In 1993, from fear of competition, Donald Trump said they don't look like the Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians. Wow.
And so you can see those are people, again,
like your aunt and uncle.
Your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, your brother, so on and so forth. Now, I want to drop a little bit of history on the Pequot, because there was a particular time when they were declared pretty much extinct. All right? They were saying extinct, and what was happening was when they were integrating into mainstream society, they were being reclassified as quote unquote black, Negroes, colored, so on and so forth. Now, 16 piece, bruh. In 1641, the Pequot had one of the biggest wars here in the Americas, right? This war was against the Dutch, the Puritans, and Britons. Now, some of those POWs, some of those quote unquote prisoners of war who were sold into slavery were actually sent to places like the West Indies, Spain, Algiers, and England. So before you had the quote-unquote transatlantic African slave trade, you had what's called the Indian slave trade. They were taking indigenous people here and taking them to other places, Africa, Europe, and if they brought them to Africa, they would sell them back to the Americas as what? Africans.
We got this idea, it's like when they enslaved us, we went to slavery peacefully. Like, okay, Mr. White Man, we're gonna go in slavery now, all right? We was fighting with the all the way to the 1900s. Like slaying them throughout the Americas, you know what I'm saying? Like all throughout, like the Seminole Wars and all that stuff. Like we was killing so many Europeans that they had to have, basically Abraham Lincoln had to have the Emancipation Proclamation. It was not only dealing with North and South and you know what they're gonna do with the economy, but we was actually killing Europeans throughout the Americas. You know what I'm saying?
So where did these Hebrew names come from? You said some of them had Hebrew names.
Yeah, because amongst the Moors, you had Hebrews.
By far,
these different things. But don't you know, in Michigan, they uncovered something called the Sabbath tablet in Michigan, where they found an inscription of Hebrew with the name Yahweh on it in Michigan.
Oh, you know, since we're talking about us being indigenous here and us traveling, a lot of people talk about us coming from ancient Kemet over here. We have a whole group, since we don't know who we are, we have a whole group who associates themselves with ancient Kemet,
Right.
who says they're the descendants of ancient Kemet. Is there any connection between ancient Kemet and America?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Talk to me about that, please.
Well, again, you have one of the oldest known groups in America known as the Washita de Maya. And the empress, she stated that they traveled back and forth during the time of the steppe periods with Saqqara in Egypt. And now that they was doing trade with the ancient Kemetic people. And that, you know, they found Egyptian style of writing in Illinois, in Chicago. So it's definitely been Egyptians been traveling over here, and we are the results of that. Cushites and different things, they always come to it. America was like a metropolitan, where different people came over here and they stayed.